Hello students, today we will be discussing the exercise related to this chapter. Now in this chapter we have discussed what is force, what are the effects of forces are, and what are the type of forces are, that is non-contact forces and the contact forces. And in the contact forces we have discussed two forces, that is your muscular force and your frictional force. And in non-contact forces we have discussed three forces, that is magnetic force, electrostatic force and gravitational force. Then we have discussed the principle of force. After that we have discussed what is pressure and how this pressure is measured in liquid and how we measure atmospheric pressure and what are the application of this air pressure. Okay. Now we will be discussing the exercise of this chapter. So similarly, like all exercises, this chapter also has the first question, that is take the correct answer, that is take the right options. So मुझे आपको क्या करना है, इसमें जो आपका क्वेश्चन दिया हुआ है उसमें 4 ऑप्शंस दिए हुए हैं. फ्रॉम दैट 4 ऑप्शंस आपको कोई भी एक जो आपको सही लगता है उसकी चेक बॉक्स के आगे टिक लगाना है. ओके, सो दिस मच यू हैव टू डू ऑन दिस क्वेश्चन. So the question is, read the following questions carefully and tick the right options. So the first question is, which one of the following forces is only attractive in nature? Now, A magnetic, B electrostatic, C muscular and D gravitational. Now bacha, if we talk about this magnetic force, now this magnetic force can be attractive but it can also be repulsive also, because when there are like charges on both sides of the magnet, on the two magnets, then it will repel. So A magnetic force, B electrostatic. Now similarly magnetic force, electrostatic can have both attractive force also and repulsive force also. Now muscular force is neither attractive in nature, neither repulsive in nature. It's a kind of force in which we do something. Okay. Now comes D. D is gravitational force. Now gravitational force is always attractive in nature. So the correct answer is D, gravitational. Okay. Now the second question. Gravitational force acts A. only between the sun and the planets moving around it, only between the earth and the bodies on it, between all bodies in the universe, only between the sun and earth. Now students, जो gravity force होती है, the gravitational force is acting between each and every object, some small, some may be large, so हम feel कर सकते हैं, but gravity force is applicable to every being. So the correct answer is C, all bodies in the universe. You know, हम भी black hole का concept पता है आपको? Black hole is nothing but a very strong field of gravity. It is a very strong gravitational field in which it sucks everything, because it's an attractive in nature, so it sucks everything. Third, the standard international unit of force is A. Coulomb, B. Newton, C. Pascal and D. Joule. Now, Coulomb is a unit of charge. We'll be discussing in further classes, but Coulomb is a SI unit of charge. Now, in the next, I will be discussing about Pascal first. Now, the Pascal is the SI unit of pressure, okay, and this Joule is the SI unit of energy. So, the correct answer is B, Newton, because force, the SI unit of force is Newton, okay, that is with the symbol N, okay. Now, the fourth question is, which is used to measure atmospheric pressure? Now, first is A. hydrometer, B. ammeter, C. barometer and D. manometer. Now, students, if we talk about this hydrometer, hydrometer is a meter which is used to measure water, okay, water pressure. Ammeter is an instrument which is used to measure our current. आपकी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी आ रही है, इस इलेक्ट्रिसिटी में करंट होता है. So this current is measured by this device. Now see barometer and manometer. Now we will be confusing. Both measures pressure, but manometer measures liquid pressure and barometer measures atmospheric pressure. So the correct answer is C, barometer. Okay. Fifth question. If a force of 100 Newton acts on an area of 10 meters square, the pressure will be A. 100 Newton per meter square, B. 10 Newton per meter square, C. 1000 Newton per meter square, or D. 1000 Newton meter square. Now students, if we talk about this, we know the formula of pressure is force upon area. Okay. Now the SI unit of force is Newton and the SI unit of area is meter into meter, that is meter square. Okay. Now the force is given as 100 Newton and the area is given as 10 meter square. So we will be cutting this 0 from this 0, then it will be 10 Newton per meter square. So the correct answer will be B, 10 Newton per meter square. Sixth. Now the sixth question is the relation between the SI unit of force and the weight of 1 kg mass is. Okay, A, 1 kgf equal to 1 Newton, B, 1 kgf equal to 0.98 Newton, C, 1 kgf equal to 9.7 Newton, and D, 1 Newton is equal to 9.8 kgf. Okay. Now students, if we talk about this option B, this option B is 1 kgf equal to 0.98 Newton. If it was 9.8 Newton, then it will be correct. And similarly, it was 9.7, it should be 9.8 for the correct answer. Now 1 Newton is equal to 9.8 kgf, it is just opposite of this correct answer. Now talk about this first option A, 1 kgf, that is 1 kgf, that is weight into force, is equal to 1 Newton. So the correct answer is A. Okay. Seventh. This is the definition of Newton also. When a force of 1 Newton is applied, when it's applying on this on a mass of 1 kg or on a weight of 1 kg. Now, seventh, our car skids on a wet road because A, water increases the friction between the road and the tires. It is not possible to apply brakes on a wet road. C, the friction between the brake shoes and the wheel is reduced. D, water reduces the friction between the roads and the tire. Now, which option C and D are both correct. But the main point is the wet road. Okay, the car skids on a wet road. So, because of this, the option D is correct. That is, water reduces. और जब भी फ्रिक्शन रिड्यूस होता है तभी आपका स्किडिंग प्रॉब्लम्स होती है, वरना फ्रिक्शन क्या करता है, इंटरलॉकिंग करके रखता है. वाटर रिड्यूसेस द फ्रिक्शन बिटवीन द रोड एंड द टायर्स. Okay. So this is for the A question. Okay, please note down the answers. Now we will be doing the B question. Okay, let me rub this first. Okay, now I will be rubbing these answers for you so you can do the next questions. Okay. This B question is fill in the blanks. That is, आपके पास एक statement है, उस statement पे एक blank है, then you have to fill that answer. So the B question, and the first is A dash is a push or pull exerted by an object on another object. So, a dash is force. This is the definition of force. Second, gravitational force is a dash force. It's a non-contact force, okay? Non-contact force. A body has weight because of dash force. मास होता है हमारी बॉडी में, वेट बिकॉज ऑफ ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स. ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स. Fourth, the force which opposes the motion of one body over another is frictional force. Okay, this frictional force opposes the motion. Okay, so the answer is frictional force. Fifth question, smoother the surface, the dash is the frictional force. मतलब जितनी surface आपकी smooth होगी ना, उतनी ही कम आपका friction होगा. So less will be the friction. Sixth is, smaller the area over which a force is applied, the dash is the pressure. The higher is the pressure. अगर हम force को constant मान लें, so higher will be the pressure. Okay, now the C question is match the column A with column B. Okay, so let me wrap this first. Now the C question comprises of match the column A with column B. Okay, now we will be writing this column A here and the column B will be written here. Okay, so this column A, you have to match this column A with this column B. Okay, so the first here is pressure. Second is muscular force. Third is manometer. Okay. Fourth is magnetic force. Magnetic force. And the fifth is like charges. Okay. Now we will be writing this column B, that is first, second, third, fourth and fifth. So the first is repel. Second is causes interaction. Causes interaction. Third is Pascal. Fourth is contact force. And the fifth one is liquid pressure. Okay. So this is the options for the B column. Now we'll be matching this column A with this column B. Okay, now this pressure, the SI unit of pressure is Pascal. So we'll be matching this with third. Okay, now muscular force. Muscular force is a type of contact force. Okay. Manometer is used to measure liquid pressure. So the correct option is fifth. Now, magnetic force causes interaction. And you know, student, like charges repel and opposite charges attract. Okay, so this is the options for all this. You can easily do this, match the column A with B. Okay, बहुत easily हो जाएगा, आप बस थोड़ा कनेक्ट करने की कोशिश करिए इस कॉलम के वर्ड्स को इन कॉलम के किसके साथ वो सबसे ज़्यादा कनेक्ट होते हैं. Okay, so this is about the C question. Now we'll be doing the D question, that is true and false. That is write the true or false for the following statement. आपको जो statement सही लग रहा है you have to write true against it. और if आपको कोई statement गलत लग रहा है scientifically or whatever you have studied according to this chapter, you have to write false against it. Okay, so simple सी बात है, true and false. So the D question comprises of true or false for the following statement. So the option, sorry, fill up this also. Now we'll be doing this D question, that is true or false. First, okay, force is a push but not a pull acting on an object. Force is push also, force is pull also. So it is false. Second, physical interaction between any two objects is necessary for forces to act. Okay, is it necessary that the physical interaction is required? There are non-contact forces also, bacha, which do not require any physical interaction. So it is false. Okay. Third, force can change the shape of an object. It is very much true. वो can example किया था हमने. Okay. Fourth, the weight of an object is because of the Earth's electrostatic force. The weight of an object is due to Earth's gravitational force, not its electrostatic force. So it is also false. Fifth, force of friction increases the speed of a moving object. बच्चा force of friction generally आपकी किसी भी object को speed को reduce करता है, ना कि इसको increase करता है. So it is also false. Sixth, pressure exerted by liquid decreases with depth. Now students, we have done this example now. This whole one example and this one also. Holes at a one depth. So हमने decide किया था कि यहाँ पे एक साथ सारे holes खुले थे. That is same depth पे same pressure होता है. और यहाँ पे सबसे पहले यहाँ से sprout आना start होता है, फिर यहाँ से और फिर finally यहाँ से. Because सबसे ज़्यादा pressure नीचे पड़ता है. So as depth increases, pressure also increases. So it's again pressure exerted by the liquid decreases with depth or increases with depth. So it is also false. Okay, so let me write down. Seventh, magnetic force increased with contact. बच्चा आपके जो magnets होते हैं, okay, suppose these are the two bar magnets. इनके बीच में ये मैग्नेटिक फोर्स तब तक ही रहेगी जब तक ये कांटेक्ट में नहीं है. जैसे ही कांटेक्ट में आएंगे दैट फोर्स विल बी नलिफाइड. ओके, सो दिस इज आल्सो false. Okay, only one is true and all others are false. Please note down this answers for this D question, that is true or false. Now we'll be doing this E question, that is define the following terms. Okay. Okay, there are three terms given, that is atmospheric pressure, gravitational pressure, force and friction. Now atmospheric pressure की definition simple सी होती है बच्चा. The pressure which is exerted by this blanket of earth that surrounds our earth called atmosphere on the earth surface is called atmospheric pressure. Now second, gravitational force. The gravitational force is a non-contact force which is applied or which is present between the two objects, where the one objects attract the other object, okay, towards it. Third, friction. Friction is a force which is between two objects which opposes its motion, okay. Now F question. Answer the following questions. First, differentiate between contact force and non-contact force. बहुत simple सा difference है. क्या है? Contact force में the two objects need to be in the contact with each other, and non-contact forces में कोई भी contact की ज़रूरत नहीं होती. And please do write two examples of this force. Like in contact, you can write frictional force and muscular force, and in this non-contact, you can write any two, that is electrostatic or gravitational force or magnetic force. Second, mention three types of forces which act from a distance. So बच्चे distance से कौन सी force act करती है? Non-contact forces, और हमने तीन forces के बारे में पढ़ा ही है, that is magnetic force, gravitational force and electrostatic force. Okay, you will be mentioning them. Third, how is the speed or direction of motion of a moving body change? आपकी direction motion का या speed किस तरह से change कर सकते हैं moving body की? हमने जो है ये chapter में discuss किया था about this. There is an example, so you can take the example and give the answer of this question. Fourth, what is pressure? You will be writing that is the force upon area is pressure, that is the force applied on a particular piece of area, okay? Then a force is created or an energy is created, it's called pressure. And what is the SI unit of pressure? SI unit of pressure is Pascal. Fifth, how is the pressure in a liquid related to depth? How will you demonstrate this? Now there is an activity given in your books regarding this question, that is activity 11.4, that beakers and the holes one. Okay, you will be needing two beakers and you will be making holes in it and needing an adhesive glue. Okay, so you can just write down that activity and it will be explaining these answers to you. Okay. Sixth, why is the cutting edge of a knife made sharp? बच्चा आपको मैंने पहले ही बताया था कि शार्प क्यों बनाते हैं, बिकॉज उसका एरिया क्या करना होगा, कम करेंगे, सो प्रेशर ज़्यादा होगा, प्रेशर ज़्यादा होगा तो हमें कम फोर्स लगानी पड़ेगी ना, दैट्स व्हाई. ओके, नाउ विल बी डिस्कसिंग दिस हॉट्स. लेट मी राइट डाउन हॉट्स इज हाई ऑर्डर थिंकिंग स्किल क्वेश्चन. Gravitational force is acting between you and a building. Why are you not pulled towards the building? बच्चे आपके बीच में ऑब्जेक्ट दैट इज अ बिल्डिंग, इसके बीच में ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स है, बट बच्चे जो आपके और अर्थ के बीच में या जो फ्रिक्शन फोर्स है आपके उसमें, तो वो भी तो एक्ट कर रही है. सो अ फोर्स, this gravitational force between you is cancelled out by the frictional force that is between you and your shoes, ground and your shoes. Okay, and also the earth gravitational force is more than your building and between these two objects. Okay. Second, whether you run, walk, stand still, sit or lie down, there is a force acting on your body all the time. Which force is this? कौन सी फोर्स है जो आपके टाइम पे हमेशा एक्ट कर रही है? इट इज ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स. इट इज एक्टिंग ऑन योर बॉडी एवरी टाइम. ओके, नाउ द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज प्रोजेक्ट वर्क. ओके, now this project work is simply you have to make a chart on the effects of force. But try to do this chart आप बनाएंगे ना, तो you have all this force causes motions, force causes change in speed, force changes the direction. So try to draw it. Okay, take up pictures of this examples that are given in your book and try to draw that pictures or stick that pictures. Okay, now activity. Take a bar magnet and suspend it with the help of a thread hanging on a hinge. Bring another bar magnet close to the suspended bar magnet and roll your observation. तो आप क्या करेंगे, एक बार मैग्नेट लेंगे, उसे एक थ्रेड से धागे से कनेक्ट करके एक हिंज पे दैट इज एक हुक पे टांग देंगे. अब एक और मैग्नेट लाएंगे. सो यू विल बी सीइंग दैट मैग्नेट, उस मैग्नेट के साथ जो मैग्नेट जो हमने क्या करी है, हैंग की है, वो क्या करती है, रोटेट करना स्टार्ट करती है. आप उस आपके हाथ वाली जो मैग्नेट है उसका डायरेक्शन चेंज करके देखिए, वो बाहर दूर जाएगी उससे, और जब उसे वापस सीधा कर देंगे तो वापस पास आएगी. सो इट विल बी डिपेंड कि वो किस तरह से मैग्नेट वर्क करेगी, बट एक टाइम पे वो पास में आएगी, एक टाइम पे वो दूर पे जाएगी. सो यू विल बी सीइंग दिस अट्रैक्टिव एंड रिपल्सिव फोर्स, नेचर ऑफ मैग्नेटिक फोर्स. ओके, सो दिस इज अबाउट दिस activity. Okay, so there is a simple activity regarding this. and it is a very interesting activity. Okay, now discovery. Blaise Pascal was a French mathematician and a physicist. He formulated a law concerning fluid pressure and the principle behind the hydraulic press. The SI unit of pressure is named after him. बच्चा ये जो what is this hydraulic press? You will be please try to find this on the internet. You will be interesting to know how this water pressure is used to carry different objects, heavy objects. Okay, lift very heavy objects. So this is about the exercise of the force and pressure. Okay, now we'll be doing the next chapter.